The night for me is my own world. I am always looking for darkness in its darkest conditions. And curiosity takes me towards it, and towards the most ideal night conditions away from the urbanization and the supply of multiple lights. It is the completely pure night, completely natural, very pure and dark. A few days ago I went to a famous area in the capital called Madi. I always like to go there, especially at night. The beauty of that area is its calm, classic, darkness and the abundance of trees in it. I always like to go there at night, either alone or with my friends. And that night, while I was walking in a quiet and beautiful atmosphere and it was almost 12:30 at night, I found a very long and very dark corridor of a railway that looks old or something. It was also very dark and bordered by trees on both sides. As usual, my curiosity took me and I thought to myself, why don't I walk inside to the end of this long, tree-filled corridor? And indeed I entered, and after about meters of walking I noticed in front of me a black dog barking furiously, but it does not move towards me, it just barks and it's like a warning bark. I'm not usually afraid of dogs, so I tried to ignore and be indifferent, and I completed my way towards him and turned on my phone's flashlight because the place was very dark, and when I passed by, he kept barking more furiously, until the barking suddenly stopped as if this dog had completely disappeared. And then I found in front of me a very strange thing on the side a few meters later. I found a big ball that glows like some small balloon or something on the side. Its colors are very bright. Its appearance is striking and suspicious and attractive in that darkness. As usual, out of curiosity, I tried to get closer to find out what this bright, round object was in that night atmosphere and this abandoned tree passage, and while trying to open or discover that luminous ball, I found a strange entity above that luminous ball at a slight height. This entity was glued to the trees and I noticed his hands and legs glued to the trees and only his face, and strangely, with vague words, and facing him, I found an entity with the same description and sticking to the trees and with the same incomprehensible accent and meaningly towards me. Then I quickly completed my way along this long corridor, and I discovered that almost the entire corridor to the end on both sides there are dozens of these entities completely glued to the trees with their faces twisted as if they were looking at me until I got out. Until I finally reached the end of it and went out and the atmosphere was completely calm, even on ordinary streets outside, and then I left the place quickly after. What are these entities? You see, are they tribes of elves inhabiting this long tree corridor? Or could they be some creatures that only appear at night and in such dark weather? The night, especially the completely pure, very dark, remains fascinating and controversial.